Wait, so those girls had khaki clothes all along? Wow. Jenna probably was pissed when she saw them. Hey y'all, it's your captain for creativity, and I'm here with a very quick and raw episode 3 Rhony Reboot review. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe and share so that we can beat this YouTube algorithm. And as always, or as has been the pattern for this new review cycle, I'm going to give you who I thought was the queen of the episode, who tugged on my heartstrings, who was being a little mischievous or villainous, and who's in timeout. And I'll end with my predictions for the next episode based on what we've seen and also the preview. So let's start with the queen of the episode. The queen of the episode for me was Miss Jenna. There's lots of things that could have made anybody snap with these girls and how they're behaving, especially over the lingerie. And especially when I saw that those girls had khaki clothes when they were going out to eat, and Jenna had that party, and none of them showed up in khaki except for Uba. So if I was Jenna, I'd have been like, these girls really just are on some stuff. So she, I think, was a champ, and I'm glad she stood up for herself and just left the scenario when she had enough of all of the shenanigans. I think it's better to remove yourself from a situation rather than escalating things or hurting people's feelings. In her case, she could have definitely got into it with Jessel over the lingerie. She could have got into it with all of them for making all that noise and she was trying to sleep. And she had that meeting at 6:30, but instead she just removed herself, let everybody rock. And I'm glad that, she's starting to show that she is a boss in her own way. So Jenna was the queen of the episode to me, and I'm happy that she went to her own beautiful house when she needed to, got her own space, set her boundary during the trip. And again, kind of stunted on the girls low key because she doesn't need nobody. And she showed it, but obviously she wants to be in community with them. That's why she came back and she made it right. But when things were stressing her out, she gave a good example, I think, for all people that sometimes you just got to take care of yourself first. So good job, Jenna. The person that I think tugged on all of our heartstrings this episode was Sai. At first, I think it seemed like she was definitely overcompensating in an annoying way with like all the bags and the, content creator kind of stunts. But when she told about her backstory, about how, she moved out of her place at 16 and she had to drop out of college, and you see just how much she had to struggle to rise above her circumstances. I think I understood her more. I connected with her more. And yes, it's still outrageous to have 5011 bags at the Hamptons and to bring the toilet paper and all that stuff. But again, her past was so rough in a lot of ways that, she comes out more as a survivor than a poser. So shout out to Sai for helping us understand her more by sharing her backstory. And I think we'll be more and more used to her shenanigans now that we understand, where she's coming from. So this brings us to the leader of a lot of the shenanigans this episode, Bryn. She's very naughty, but again, her energy is good for the show. One of the villainous things that she did this episode obviously was flirting with that poor trader. They were objectifying him, both her and Uba. But again, I think that's part of her personality to always flirt and do those things, which is what Jenna was saying. But I thought she gave pretty bad advice with this. nudes of yourself on the phone to attract people. I'm glad Uba got her together and was like, listen, that's no way to attract a good, decent man. Like, if somebody is, reeled in to your world and your life through, you know, the kind of lustful, I guess, angle, that's probably all the relationship is going to be. It might evolve into more, but Uba was totally right in saying, if you're trying to hook people in through, a more perverted or overtly sexual angle like that, then it's likely that you're gonna reel in the wrong person or someone who's not looking at your heart. They're looking at your nudes, right? So Bryn, she's gotta watch I think how she moves just based on what she's saying is her dating go-tos. And I think for all people, you have to really be careful about how you meet people because they say how you get them is how you lose them. So if somebody, is just looking for the surface level kind of stuff, they're probably just going to stay surface, and they're not going to commit or, stay with you. So hopefully she takes Uba's advice and stops doing those kinds of things. But also, what was even more, I guess, dramatic was her trying to kind of get Jenna in trouble for leaving, um, because she felt, I guess, that there was a double standard about her getting in trouble for going to the other restaurant with Sai, and she felt that Jenna kind of got off easy for going to her house. But one, she didn't understand what had happened and the whole context of Jenna leaving because she was not there. I'm glad the girls kind of tried to get her up to speed with how rude Jessel was. And then Jessel showed in the scene how rude she was again by apologizing, but then still ripping on the lingerie and making fun of it in Jenna's face again. So I think Bryn sort of dropped it after the fact, but just that energy of trying to get Jen in trouble and trying to, rally the girls to have some kind of punishment for Jenna. I did not like that. It's kind of like, the saying misery loves company, or kind of like a crabs in the barrel vibe. It's like, okay, I got in trouble with Aaron. Let me make sure Aaron also puts Jenna in trouble instead of being happy for those girls to reconcile so fast. So Bryn, yes, she's good for the show in terms of causing drama, but she's got a little side to her that is not all fun and games. It's a little bit, how do I say? A little bit nasty, trying to cause drama like that. So, again, I think she's good for the show. I think she's funny overall, but I did not like how, again, she was trying to get Jenna in trouble with Aaron and the rest of the girls, more so than Jenna already was, because they did confront Jenna about leaving. They had squashed it, but then Bryn was trying to, re drag it up just to, I guess, feel a sense of justice, but that's not gonna be great for the friend group if she wants to be exact like that and, is not valuing reconciliation over drama. And again, with the dating thing, it just shows kind of maybe a toxic side to her that could be just telling of the type of relationship she's had in the past. So hopefully she grows from that. But yes, just follow Uber brand and you'll be fine. And last but not least, who's in timeout this episode? I would have to say Erin again for not feeding the girls. Sai was complaining a little bit, especially about the caviar in the first part of the trip. But just the fact that, she didn't make the shakshuka, that she tried to blame Jennifer when Jenna wasn't even there. It's like, nah, girl, you got to feed these people. Thankfully, she gave them the little sushi at the end that they liked, but I'm gonna have to back away from what I said about her being a great host because part of hospitality is making sure you take care of your guests in terms of, their needs. Obviously, the heat wasn't working in the house, which she couldn't control, but she could have gotten space heaters maybe, or you know, with the food, she definitely could have stocked the fridge with more snacks and things like that. So I'm gonna have to remove the comments that I said last episode about her being a great host. I think she took the complaints on the chin. So I think her attitude as a host was good, but she got to work on her hospitality skills with the food and like rectifying the heat and the cold situation. So Aaron, you in timeout for being the host with the least actually this episode, and hopefully you learn in future cast trips. You'll be a little bit more attentive to your guests because again, it's your house. They're not gonna mess with your thermostat. They're not gonna, be too rude about the food. But if you starving them or freezing them, you gotta fix that. So let's go to predictions. I think the next episode, Jessel's gonna get in trouble with her husband, and we've seen the signs that she's got a little bit to work on with appreciating the people around her. Even this episode, she apologized to Jenna, but then she went back again and tearing down the lingerie. So she's got something she's got to fix in her, and it could be projection. Maybe she's unhappy with herself and her own flaws, so that makes her pick apart others like that. But I'm glad it seems like her husband's gonna stand up for himself and try to get her to see how she could appreciate the people around her more. But hopefully when Jessel looks back at the season and when the reunion happens, she'll learn from all these little mistakes that she's making because again, we all want to grow and learn and do better. So let's see what happens. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And remember, you are the master of your fate and you are the captain of your soul. And if you want a long review, check us out on the Lean YouTube channel. I'm a panelist there and we review the episodes in a much more lengthy way. This is just my little raw take. So check us out on the Lean Tuesday nights at 8:30. We usually live, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.